Hello, and welcome to the practice log, coming at you from the music dungeon, the frigid, freezing music dungeon. It's really cold down here, so I've been running a space heater for like the last hour so that my hands wouldn't freeze, because last time it was pretty cold and my performance really sucked because my hands froze. But I had to turn off the space heater because it was like making a loud noise that really messed up the whole video thing, so it's slowly freezing me again. So maybe the performance will suck again. But anyway, welcome to the practice log. What is this? This is a log where I log my practice. That was a great explanation. I'm sure it really revealed a lot. And it kind of has three parts. So first I'm going to talk about some comments that we had. Second off, I'm going to talk about a little practice methodology that I have, kind of my plans for the next few months of practicing. We're coming up on the new year, New Year's resolutions with music, whoa, all that sort of stuff. And then I'm going to play you some of the stuff that I have been practicing, and we'll call it a wrap. So I will jump into the comments first. So the comments, Steve _ JS2 says, the melodic melody of the glorious didgeridoo. Thank you for blessing us with your beautiful music and stunning good looks. Celebration cup emoji. Thanks, Steve. I don't really know what this comment is trying to do, but I appreciate the engagement and the stunning good looks. Steve also commented on one of my shorts. It is always on the third time for a ginger. I don't really know what that means, but Steve, if you see this, maybe you could explain your comments down below. I do appreciate them though. So anyway, on my last practice log, Cassidy Beanges, I think that's how you say my last name, please correct me if that was wrong. Friend of the channel, glad you're here watching these. He says, as far as playing melodic style in E flat or E major, basically the same key, right? Check out two things: Jens Kruger Premonitions 1 through 5, Tony Trishka's medley of Old Joe Clark and June Apple. The relative minor of E flat is C minor. The open strings of the banjo give the 5 chord in that key. Yep, something worth bearing in mind. Great video. Reminds me, thank you. Reminds me of Sore Hands videos. Sore Hands? How could these videos remind you of Sore Hands videos? I just blatantly ripped off his whole shtick and put it in my videos, and kind of copy a lot of his mannerisms. Like, you just need to not make that comparison, because there's really no similarity between our videos whatsoever. Yeah, so glad to have that settled. Anyways, thank you for that. That was great. And then Cassie reached out to me on Instagram and sent me a bunch of examples. He sent me some tabs, I think, of things that were melodic in E flat. Very cool, very appreciated. I had some more comments about the whole E flat melodic fiasco, which I think I addressed in the last video. But yeah, I totally agree. I was not aware that there was like extensive banjo repertoire in E flat melodic. I did not know that. I had heard most of the examples that had been given to me, aside from the Gordon Stone stuff. I just didn't know they were in E flat, or I hadn't investigated that. So definitely doing melodic in E flat is possible. Doing melodic in E is possible. Almost all keys you can do melodic to some extent. You might not be able to get a full major scale, but you can do it melodically with open strings, because every key is going to share at least 2 notes with every other key, right? The question or not is just if those 2 notes fall somewhere with banjo strings. So you have 3 notes on your 5 open strings. Not all keys have those 3 notes in them, even if they share notes with G major. So like D flat major does not have D, it doesn't have B, it doesn't have G in it. B major only has B in it, which makes playing melodically in B hard, at least with a scale. I think you can do melodic stuff in pretty much any key. You're just very limited. And the point I was trying to make in that video is that even if you can play melodically in a key, I think it's a better system to have your framework of scales with single string that you go off of, and then you add in open strings, you add in closed melodic stuff whenever you can to kind of get the banjo sound in it. I think that's just a better, it's like better scaffolding for your improvising than melodic is in most keys. Now, you can definitely have melodic scaffolding in G, in C, in D, and the relative minors. You could probably even do it in E flat. I just think it's a lot easier to have that framework of single string scales all over the fretboard. You go off of that and then throw in open strings whenever you can. That's for improvising. Composing is totally different, right? You can work in open strings wherever you want. I just think it's a better system than trying to have your whole framework be melodic in every single key, because you're going to have a different framework in every single key where stuff doesn't transfer. It's going to be really weird and esoteric. A lot of keys are going to be really hard to do that in. All of that is negated with single string stuff. That being said, I think the best banjo music is made when those are combined. And throw in melodic stuff whenever you can. I think the basic framework is probably best done with single string scales like a guitarist would do, or whatever. I think that's just kind of the better framework to have. So anyway, hopefully that's cleared up. Let's talk about setting practice goals, because we're coming up on the new year. Lots of New Year's resolutions, maybe some banjo New Year's resolutions happening. I don't know if I'm going to have a banjo New Year's resolution, but I am going to have January through March, 3 months where I am going to have the opportunity and the time to be practicing probably like 4-ish hours a day, which I have not had for a long time. I had that when I was first getting into banjo, which is how I kind of progressed fairly quickly through the beginner stage of the instrument, because I was just practicing all the time. But since then, it's been kind of like an hour a day if I'm lucky, and I haven't been progressing as fast. Until now. Now I'm going to have 3 months where I can play multiple hours a day. It's going to be great. Hopefully I can make a ton of progress. So the first thing I was thinking is, how do I best utilize this time to suit my goals? Well, what are my goals? My goal with banjo specifically is to be as good as I can be. Well, what does being as good as I can be look like? Well, I was thinking about that, and I think being really good at an instrument involves a lot of things. It's repertoire, technique, tone, your timing, your taste, a lot of other stuff, I'm sure. That's just off the top of my head. But all of those things need to be worked on a lot to get as good as you can be at the instrument, to get up to a professional level or wherever your end goal is. Now, my end goal is to have that all locked down and just be a really, really great musician. And I was thinking, what can I do for these 3 months that will give me the best bang for my buck? It's like, these are the things I can really hit for 3 months and then kind of coast off of that, working on stuff slower, getting at their slower pace after that. Well, what I've been really interested in for the last few years is improvisation and being able to do solos and that sort of thing. I think what I need to work on for these 3 months is getting really good at improvisation over just music. Not like improvising over bluegrass, not improvising over fiddle tunes, or just over jazz standards, but really trying to do all of that stuff enough and other things to where I can solo over chords, and the end goal is to just be able to solo over pretty much whatever kind of music, right? So I'm not locked in by a genre, like I'm a bluegrass player or I'm a jazz player, right? I want to be good at both of those things, but I think the end goal of being a complete musician is like, I can pretty much put my instrument into whatever genre or song I want and do a great solo with it, and fit in, make the music better, right? I don't just want to play train songs, right? Or fiddle tunes. I want to be able to play with all different kinds of musicians and fit in many different genres. So I think what I do for these 3 months to get towards that end goal, keeping that end goal in mind, I'm like, what steps should I take in these 3 months to get myself closer to that end goal? I think what I need to do is gain a really strong repertoire of bluegrass and jazz, because that's kind of what I've been focusing on for right now, and have like a certain number of songs that I play, start improvising over those, and just keep playing them for like 5-10 years until I have that really consistent improvisatory language that I can apply to whatever song that I'm playing over. So I think what I'm going to do for these 3 months is, for bluegrass, I think I'll go through the Scruggs book and try and learn every single song through the whole Earl Scruggs book. That'll be kind of the bluegrass repertoire. I'll probably learn some fiddle tunes too, but I think going through the whole Scruggs book, learning everything like Scruggs did it, will just give me an amazing baseline as just a banjo player that I can then jump off on, right? That's going to make my right hand so much better listening to Scruggs, trying to match it all the time. That's going to teach me all the banjo standards that everyone else learns. I'll be able to fit in and play with those people. That'd be great. And then for jazz, the other thing that I want to work on, probably learn like 20 or so. I don't know how many, but a good number of jazz standards, and then just try and start soloing over them. Get all of the improvisatory techniques down with those songs, and get really, really good at soloing over this set of songs. And like, that's my repertoire. And like that, those are the songs I play for now. I just work on those. I write down solos for them. I solo over them hundreds and hundreds of times. And then after I've gone through that process for a while, I start adding on. My repertoire gets bigger and bigger, and it will be easier to add new songs to the repertoire because I have all of this improvisatory technique that I've banged out on this small set of repertoire that I can then apply to whatever songs I want. So for these 3 months in which I have more time to practice, I think the two things I'm going to do with banjo are learn the whole Scruggs book and improvise over all those songs. I can improvise in Scruggs style. That's fine. That's great. I'm way better at doing that than I am with jazz yet. And then 2, learn a certain number of jazz standards, 20, 25 something. I don't know how many I should do. And start learning to improvise in that style, improvising, changing keys in jazz with those songs. And then I can just kind of write on those songs for a long time, get really, really good at soloing over them, and then go from there and start doing more songs, get into other genres of music, do that sort of thing. I think this is going to provide a really good base for improvising that I can then spring off of. But if you're watching this and you're like, that's dumb, or you think it is a good idea, let me know. I'd be curious to hear other people's opinions on it. Like, oh, well, when I learned to improvise, this was really helpful and you aren't talking about that. Any sort of thing like that, let me know. I'll talk about it in the next practice log. But anyways, those are kind of my thoughts for now. This was kind of a spur of the moment thing, so this wasn't thought through too terribly much. If I do get some comments about it, definitely going to think through like musical goals for the new year in a bit more detail, and I'll talk about that next time. But for now, I think I'm going to go into the playing segment of the video. I think all I'm going to play for you today is I wrote 2 solos out for Autumn Leaves, kind of as exercises or etudes for myself. They're not super musical, but I've been working on those arpeggios all over the fretboard, and I wrote down 2 etudes to help those sink into my head. So I think I'll just get a backing track here, play those etudes for you, and we'll call it a wrap. I really do need to get a better method for this than playing it on my phone and hoping the mic picks it up. Although it's been working, so that's great. It's just kind of jank. All right. I'm just going to play through the A part twice because those are all the etudes I have. I haven't done any for the B part, and I don't want to pollute my playing with the B part, which I'm not as good at. Although that sounds kind of wimpy, but whatever. We'll give it a shot. Okay, I know that was kind of meager, but those are just two etudes I wrote out. And I don't really have anything else to play. I'm still working on Sugar Maple. That's great. Every time that I play that on here, I get copyright struck. And something I've noticed is that I've been putting out Sugar Maple update shorts, right? And they get like exponentially fewer views than any other short, which is interesting. Like my other shorts will get usually around 1,000 views. And well, let me just look at the numbers. It's kind of crazy. So my last short I put out was Still Learning the Song, which I played Sugar Maple in that. In the first day and 19 hours, that video has gotten 39 views, which is like ridiculous. Now, the song I put out right before that is Can You Name This Song? I was playing some bluegrass thing. It was not copyrighted. That has like 900 views. And yes, that has been out a day more than the other one, but I mean, one of them's 39 views, the other one is 900. So I'm wondering if the copyrighted material is not letting the short be spread as much. Because the only shorts I have with those few views are Sugar Maple. Every single other short is around 1,000 or higher. And then the Sugar Maple ones are like 100, 200, something like that. So I'm wondering if the fact that it's copyrighted is not letting it be spread as much. I mean, it's not really a big deal. It's just kind of something I noticed. I don't know if that's actually how it works, but anyway, I'm going to keep working on Sugar Maple. I'll probably show it to you next time. I just haven't made a ton of progress since the last video, so I didn't think showing it would be worth it, but I think I'll wrap it up here. So thanks for watching. If you watched all the way, thanks again, I guess. And yeah, if you're looking for banjo lessons, contact me. My email's in the description below. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.